With HBO Max just a few days out, the head of WB streaming service gives us a little insight into the DC projects. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Comic Book Nostalgia. I'm CB Nostalgia. We got a little update on HBO Max and DC films. But first, I wanted to remind everybody, if you're looking for your place for all your comic book news, rumors, and reviews, all while looking for the best and positive in those characters we love, make sure you hit that like button and press subscribe. Well, we're in the final countdown to the launch of HBO Max. It drops May 27th. And now we're getting a whole bunch of new, interesting details on some of the DC projects they have lined up for us. Now, if you didn't know, HBO Max is a new streaming service from Warner Brothers, and it's going to be the place where most of their content is generally going to be congregated at. This means most of your new DC projects are going to show up here, as well as the stuff that drops in theaters, and then I think eventually most of the stuff on the DC Universe. Now ahead of the launch, Warner Media Entertainment and direct-to-consumer chairperson Bob Greenblatt spoke a little bit with the Recode Media podcast and talked a little about some of these upcoming projects. The first one he talked about was Green Lantern, and he had a little tidbit to say. Greg has done a lot of really quality DC fare for the CW. These will not be like that. These will be the next step up in production value. You can expect the highest level of cinematic production value on these shows. And that's the same for the rest of the projects we've announced with J.J. Abrams. That of course leads us right to the J.J. Abrams discussion, which is his new series, Justice LEgaue Dark. Now recently, Justice LEgaue Dark Apocalypse were dropped in the animated side of the house, and it was met with rave reviews, and I gotta say, if you haven't checked it out, it's worth it. It's great fun. But now J.J. Abrams is actually doing a live-action version of the classic JLD, and a lot of fans are pretty excited. When asked about J.J. Abrams and the Justice LEgaue Dark series, Greenblatt said, yes, he's always loved it. He's always felt like there was a lot of opportunity there and an unexplored territory and the kind of pond that he could play in exclusively. Now, I found that pretty interesting because it's pretty true. A lot of the Justice LEgaue Dark characters have not been touched, and there's a huge library of characters. Ones we're familiar with, like Constantine, but then a lot fans want to see that have never been brought to life, like Zatanna, Deadman, or my favorite would be Etrigan. Now, he also had a little bit to say about the Snyder Cut. When asked about it, Greenblatt said, it isn't as easy as going into a vault and there's a Snyder Cut sitting there to put out. It does not exist. Zack is actually building it, and it's complex, including new visual effects shots. It's a radical rethinking of that movie, and it's complicated and wildly expensive. I'll just say I wish it was just $30 million and stop there. It's an enormous undertaking and very complex. Now we'll dig into this a little more in another video, but it seems pretty likely that this means that a lot of work remains on the feature, as well as breaking it up into the pieces that will allow it to air on HBO Max. Now that wasn't all the shows. He mentioned nothing about Strange Adventures or Rosario Dawson's DMZ, so I'm curious about the status of those shows. Last we heard, DMZ had a full episode in the can, so maybe it's still moving forward and he just didn't have any details. In any case, I really wonder what you guys think. Are you ready for HBO Max, and do you feel like you could subscribe to this service to get some exclusive DC content? Honestly, I thought I was subscribing to the DC Universe for that, but hopefully HBO Max brings something more substantial to the table. I expect in about 2 years, it won't matter anyway. Sound off in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you press like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates. Peace.